Yes, greetings and come on in. Excellent. Salam. And here we go with another itineration of the I story. So, like I said in the last episode, here I was in Zurich, Switzerland, playing with Caribbees, and ended up meeting this young woman from South America. And like I said, you know, it happened when we get to my place, and the relationship started there. Like I said, she was not fully 18 as yet. She was going to be 18 in a few months. So she said as soon as she's 18, she wants to move out. And, we live together. So I'm basically one year and a few months older than she is. So we went back to the rehearsal room. We went out, we did our gig. We came back and we started to meet up, and so as time went by, we were even basically staying together at my place that I shared with two other guys, David and Pietro. And finally, when she turned 18, we made a request to get married. We ended up getting married about a month later, and we started to somewhat plan. We both like music, and we thought we could have maybe made a life playing music together. But Switzerland is a place where, especially you get married, you have bills to pay at the end of the month. So reality started to check in. So whatever I was earning from music by then, or back then, was not enough to sell and feed two mouths when two mouths had to be fed, and pay the bills, and now new bills to be paid. So we had an idea we could have moved back to Jamaica. So I took on some odd jobs beside music. That is, I worked in restaurants to earn a fast cash so that I could pay, tickets and have a little money for go to Jamaica, and So we ended up doing that, and I knew somebody was working in a travel agency, and I think back then there was Iceland Air that used to fly to Montego Bay. So bought two tickets and took a train from Zurich to Brussels and flew from Brussels to Miami, from Miami to Montego Bay. Now, while in Jamaica, the expected and the unexpected happened. That is, Jamaica is a funny little place. You come from foreign and them kind of thing there. And you come with foreign woman and them kind of thing there. Of course, man I go look on your woman, and I'm gonna check so boy, you come in with all the cash too, and then you have the jealousy factor. So it was hard for me to really find a job, because a lot of people that I knew, when I went back and see them, it's like they just had me on a distance, and it's like, them scared though, because like, there's this kind of complex in Jamaica, if you come from foreign, it's like, boy, man, it's like I'm scared of you somewhat, want, especially if you go in and you practice the profession where you usually practice on the island, you know. So, I start to stint around a little bit and get a little one thing here, a little one little job this, and it started to get really rough. So, you know, ended up, I had to come up with another plan, was to leave Jamaica again. So, my wife back then had her parents in Venezuela send her a ticket to come over. And them organized for me to come over there and thing. So I went in and thing and yeah, start trying to do my thing. So like as I left off in the last episode, I was working in Caracas now, after being in Venezuela for a while with the orchestra, the Satellites. And that was going good. We had a lot of good paying gigs and them kind of thing. And it was a famous orchestra back then. And then, another economic crisis stuck in. So here and then again, I was up back against the wall financially. So, I had to return to the village at a certain point and basically used to just go to the forest and get fruits and planting and banana and fish in the lakes and them kind of thing there for put food on the table because things was rough, you know what I mean? That went on for a while, so then I decided to put my own little project together in Venezuela, and it was a band, we call it Papa Sammy and the Colors. And I started to look for like small gigs, small places, 50 people, that kind of thing there. And that kind of took off. So I had some small income coming in, maybe twice a week, you had a little gig. Then I came across a group named Jaja Children, who was working with a recording company who had recorded an album for them. And, they heard I was from Jamaica, so they wanted to have contact with me. So they let me hear the album and, it wasn't good. So I proposed to the recording company to just redo the whole thing. So I took, the tapes and sit down and write some horn arrangement for the album, and then basically went back into the studio with them and just rearranged the whole thing and re-record the whole album. Got it mixed and put out. The album is called Got to Get Up by Jaja Children, 1984. If you go on YouTube, you'll find it. Then I came across another group of people from Trinidad. Their name was Pyramid, and I started working with them, and they had a few gigs, Caracas, sometimes outside of Caracas, and that went on with them for a little while, and we ended up also getting a deal with the same recording company that I recorded, that I produced the album Got to Get Up by Jaja Children for. They wanted to do some recording with this group, so we ended up doing 2 singles. We were supposed to do an album. The album never really realized because, as usual, recording companies, they start to come out with all kind of little thing. So I kind of stepped back because they owed me some money and all that kind of thing. Then it was a struggle to get paid. I kind of stepped out of the group and decided to migrate to the east of the country, Puerto La Cruz, where I knew a piano player, and went down to travel up. That didn't really work out, so then I decided to go to a place they call the island of Margarita, And getting there, met some people and some musician, and started to do some little thing till there was a hotel by the name of For You, and I used to stint there on and off. And then me and a guy from Guyana named Jerry, we decided to put a little thing together, a duo thing with a drum machine, and I played keyboard, and he played bass, and we had a drum machine, and we had a little thing going, and that really took off, went very well. We earned some good money, and that went on for a little while till at a certain point I had started recording an album in Caracas, a solo album with a company called Le Garage, with a guy named Jose Gazo. And that album was not finished. So while we were playing one night in Margarita, a German woman used to come and sit down and listen to the band all the time. And then she came one night and said, boy, she loved the band and she would have loved for carry us to Germany to play in her club. So, I had some German experience. I spoke German, or I speak German, and it was not difficult for me to go to Germany because back then with a Jamaica passport, you didn't need a visa to go to Germany. Now, so I kind of said, well, that's cool, that sounds good. So, I decided to go back to Caracas, try to finish the album, and then fly out to Germany. Now, everything went down all right, except for my friend Jerry didn't get a visa for Germany. For some reason, they didn't want to give him one. So I ended up having to go to Germany alone, and with a Dutch guy I had met in Margarita. So we ended up, doing some rehearsals with him in Holland, and basically came back to do some gigs in Germany in that club. Now, that was not promising, so I, took off, went back to Holland, spent some time in Holland, and then came back to Germany, and then from Germany went to Switzerland, and because I used to live in Switzerland before, so I decided to just basically settle in Switzerland again and maybe bring over my family, bring over my kids then, and thing. Now, that's where another crisis situation stepping again, because I had to start from scratch in Switzerland again. So I had to, at a certain point, bring over my wife back then to Switzerland so that I could get some of my paperwork together, because I was not a citizen, and I had somewhat lost my residency because I was out of the country for a while, so I had to reapply. So did some works, and went back to Venezuela finished my album, came back and worked on getting it out, released it, and basically started to gig with my name now, Winchester. During that same period, well, the woman came over from Venezuela, I kind of straightened the papers then. And well, some tragedies kind of step in, like, we had some serious issues and problems, and that led, finally, without going into detail, to a separation and to a divorce, I think 2 years later. From there, I basically started to move around in Europe again and build up my name as an artist, build up also my catalog. I released 2 other albums after my first album, Revelation. Then I released Get Serious, Africa for Africans, and then the 3rd album called Solid. So, next episode we'll just move on and take it from there till now. So, blessing.